And it's creating memories. It's creating really positive memories when everyone's come together, when you're looking at your mission, when you know that there's an impact, when you know that there's aha moments that are made in the room, in the virtual space, that you've made a difference. And that's the beauty of it.
Welcome to Women Thrive podcast. This is where you'll get to hear incredible stories of female entrepreneurs, business owners, women from all walks of life. Myself, Raymonda Jan, and my co-host Abigail will be interviewing incredible women, hearing inspiring stories of women from all around the world. I have no doubt that you will find something that will be life-changing for you. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and join us for our future episodes.
Hello and welcome to the Women Thrive podcast. My name is Raymonda Jan and I will be your host for today's interview. And today we're talking about the secret revenue stream to your events with one of our guests, Lauren Penny. Hi, Lauren. How are you doing?
Hello, Raymonda. I'm very well. And you?
I'm good. I'm excited about this topic because events is really close to my heart, as you know, and it's so interesting to find out what is that secret revenue stream to events.
Yes, well, it's absolutely great to be here. And what I absolutely love around sponsorships is that it literally is an invisible revenue, particularly for business women that are hosting events. And literally, it's an asset that you already own. And I'm here to let you know, and the listeners know, that you can actually uncover the invisible revenue because it's assets that you own. You could sell those benefits to others, and you don't have to do a lot more work to be able to receive this income. And the benefits of also that is that then you're not relying only on ticket sales. So that's what I say around the invisible revenue. And there's a number of different streams of this, but this is why I'm so passionate to share and help business owners to see that the possibilities of uncovering this invisible revenue in your business events.
Amazing. Well, I am so excited to be hosting Lauren Penny today, who is a monetization events expert and the founder of Branched Out. She brings more than 22 years of worldly experience having planned and executed mega events around the world. Some of them include FIFA World Cup, London Olympics, G20 Leaders Summit, and many more amazing global events. So she owns and operates two of them businesses and has worked on events from mega to boutique businesses, from online to in-person. And in 2023, both businesses were finalists at the Beam Awards. Lauren works with women coaches and service providers, earning multiple 6 to 7 figures with repeatable sales strategies using in-person events and creating multiple revenue streams. Lauren, so good to have you here today. Like I said, it's so interesting to be talking about this subject because I think especially in the coaching industries and the knowledge-based business, people are always looking to add new revenue streams. And personally, I know events has been a massive game changer for our business. And I'm sure there are many others who are thinking, how can we create more revenue streams and build our community? So Lauren, you've been in the events industry for 22 years. That's pretty incredible.
Yes, it is. And it's taken me around the world, which I've absolutely loved. I love the power of an event.
Yeah, tell me a little bit more. What made you want to start out in this industry?
Yes, so I started out in the major event industry. So I've been working predominantly in the Olympic Games, the Commonwealth Games, Australian tennis, FIFA World Cup, the really mega events. And what's drawn me to this is that it's all around the business growth of the country. And fundamentally, in my earlier years, it was all around enabling the athlete to be able to perform at their best when they're on the field of play. And that's what always drove me to be able to continue to work really passionately, long hours, and really commit to putting on these major events. And many of them, Ray, I've worked with for many years. And so there's a really long lead up time. And many people might think, oh, well, it only takes a year to put something together. Well, actually, when you're working on like an Olympic Games, you're already running test events. You're already in quite an operational mode a year out from the Games. So as much as it sounds thrilling and I absolutely loved, it took me around the world. I got to see the world through my career. As much as I absolutely loved the space of the mega events and seeing this come to fruition and see the country come alive, what I found along my journey was that there are these incredible business women across the globe who have extraordinary missions. They want to make a change and an impact on the world. And what I discovered was I could actually transfer my knowledge in event planning, take it from the mega event space, and now transfer this knowledge into servicing business owners across the globe on how they can then host their events in their business for their business growth. And again, it's similar to the athlete. I love seeing the business host now on stage performing at her best.
Yeah.
There's nothing more thrilling that I love is then watching the business woman glow. She's confident. She's not worrying around the logistics and the catering or that something's not happening within the venue. We're taking care of that. And now that I know that we can help the business owner, she is performing, she's delivering, she's connecting, she's meeting and greeting and growing and establishing relationships with those in the community and in the room, the power of in the room. I just love it. And so that's how I transferred. So how I firstly begun in major events and then now where I am today in working with business owners across the globe. And so you mentioned that there are a number of different elements to that in terms of events. And where we're talking today is more around the sponsorships. And I see events, there's a number of different revenue streams, and everyone starts to think around ticketing as the core, as the number one strategy. And of course it is, you need to have attendees at your event, and that is a revenue stream. But there's also some other monetization strategies that business hosts can facilitate, and that is sponsorships.
Yeah, it's so amazing. I mean, I've been hosting events for maybe 8 years now, and it's such a thrilling experience, both for the organizer because they get to connect with the audience, and for the audience to build those more intimate relationships with the event host, with the community, with the organization. And it really serves as a fantastic tool to market your business. For me, this has been probably the biggest game changer in my business, that I got to connect with my audience in such a beautiful way.
Yes, absolutely. And because that's the thing, you're in a moment together, whether it's virtually with your summit, you're in a moment together, you're connecting, you're having chats, you're seeing the speaker, you're listening, you can feel their energy. And then in person, you can then have those conversations, that two-way. You can really either start a fresh new relationship or, as you said, deepen an existing relationship now that you're in that space together, whether it's virtual or whether it's in person. So it's phenomenal that you are running events in your business as part of your growth strategies.
It's like I said, it's just been an absolute game changer and I love it. People say, oh my God, it's so stressful. I'm like, yeah, I know, but it's so amazing what you get out of it. Now, Lauren, I know from experience, especially now post COVID, the cost of running events is absolutely can be quite big, depending where you are, depending the size of the event. So a lot of times tickets alone do not cover the cost of the events. What other revenue streams are we talking about that could be potentially beneficial for an event organizer?
Yes, 100% right. With events, yes, we're talking quite a commercial entities, and many of the events that are ran and a lot of the venues are commercial entities. And so one of the power of this is facilitating sponsorship. So with ticket sales, it's great. However, ticket sales only happen once you launch. So you need to have a product, you need to have your event, you need to know your venue, you need to know a structure of your event to be able to sell, to then receive the income. Whereas the invisible revenue of sponsorships is actually a step before that. This is around starting to review who could you partner with that shares the same target market as you, as the event that you're going to be hosting, and therefore be able to facilitate and sell opportunities that the sponsor can be presented with their brand in front of your audience. And so you can actually bring on sponsors before you launch, and that brings in that capital. It can help with covering deposits. A lot of venues now, they will always ask for a deposit. And even in some cases, would you believe, they're non-refundable. But so with the power of sponsorships, it can really help to bring in that capital earlier on. And then it takes that stress and that overwhelm from the business owner, because you know that you've already met a number of your KPIs, some of your cash, and also in kind. And what I mean by in kind is when you look at your balance sheet at your event, there's a number of things like catering, like styling, like videography, like photography, like a venue. So it's also looking at, well, could these also be in-kind partnerships so that you're not rolling out the money to be able to facilitate the event, but you're engaging in a partnership, in a sponsorship. So it really starts to alleviate that pressure point and the stress of an actual launch. And it can then enable the launch to be more of a benefit as such, rather than, oh, we really need to sell this number of tickets. What I tend to see is that sponsorships could be around a third of an overall revenue strategy. Obviously, tickets are a key driver, but also sponsorships. It can be a third, it can be around, or even to 50%. Depends on the type of event, depends on the different proposals that you can run out and facilitate, but it really starts to alleviate that pressure time of the ticket sales.
Yeah. Well, how much in advance would you say someone needs to start planning for sponsorships?
I think that's a really good question. Ray, I would recommend at least 2-3 months out before you launch. So it depends again on the size of your event, but I would strongly recommend working with sponsors earlier on in the piece, and so that you can really establish the partnership, the agreements, the expectations, the deliverables. And it means that then you can have all of your marketing assets, so all of your landing pages, all of your graphics, you can have everything organized. And so that when you launch, you don't just launch, but you launch with impact. And then it can then help the ticket sales, because now when people are looking at your event, they're like, oh, wow, they have XYZ sponsors supporting this event.
Yeah.
And so it gives the event more credibility. It has more exposure. One of the other hidden aspects, I suppose, of sponsorships as well is that when you do have sponsors on board, it means that their audience, you're actually starting to be able to market your event to their audience, but without the cost to you. Like, whoa, mind blown. Okay? So it means that you can really, the marketing spend, not only are you receiving revenue, but you're also being able to have your event presented to another audience, same target market, and then the sponsor is doing the promotions because now they're proud to be part of your event. And so I highly recommend you business owners look at sponsorships before the actual launch.
Yeah. Well, that just gets me really excited, because I know with events there's a lot to organize, but if you start there, I think you'll be in much better position, like let's say pricing your event and all the costs and planning and just considering that actually there can be a win-win solution for everyone because certainly there are so many businesses who are looking to extend their reach to build those relationships as well. And I've certainly know that I've built some beautiful, beautiful partnerships along the way. For every single event that we've hosted, we had some amazing partners that just accelerated the event even further. And you're quite right in terms of sharing the reach, which is amazing.
Yeah, 100% sharing that reach, and it really enables that you're launching, and you're really launching with impact, and it already shows that wow, this event is, and you've looked at the programming, all of the marketing assets, and it means that then you can go into that sort of like that sales process and deliverables in a really, really cohesive manner.
Yeah,
which is
absolutely.
phenomenal.
I love it. Well, events, as you know, it's a little bit more passion and it's something that I just love the impact. You can make big, really big impact with events. Now, some of our audience might be thinking, well, I don't have a huge reach, and why should organizations support me or sponsor my event? Where do you think is the win-win solution, especially if you don't have a huge audience or you don't think you have anything to offer to sponsors?
Oh, look, that's a really good question. I think I'd recommend that if you feel that you don't have a large audience, I'll have a look at obviously looking at how big is your audience, what type of event are you going to host, who's going to be attending this event. And I know that one of the frustrations that business owners do have is that they send proposals out but they're being ghosted and no one's responding. No one's picking up the phone. No one's responding to emails. And they kind of feel like they're throwing spaghetti against the wall, not really knowing what's happening. But what I recommend is that you take a step back and you have a look at what is the event and who's going to be attending the event, and have a look at that audience and then see, well, who else is interested in that audience? So who else has the same target market? And therefore your role as a business host is to facilitate the buyer and the seller. So if you know that you are a wellness expert and you're bringing your wellness experts in your local area together, well, then have a look at, well, who else is interested in this target market, in the wellness experts in this area, and have a look at where then you can start talking to those companies, because they may then have an interest to be able to either sell items, products or services, or again, have the opportunities to provide in-kind support. So even if you don't have a large audience, I would always say, what is the audience that you're going to be hosting for your event?
Yeah. I think there's something to note that you're going to be promoting the event anyway. So it's actually the event alone has a reach, whether you're promoting through Eventbrite, whether you're promoting through social media, running ads, or you have some partners, speakers even will be promoting your event. So essentially, you are reaching a new audience and potential audience with your event alone, which even if you don't have a big audience, the event is going to reach the audience that you're looking for.
Yes, 100%. 100%.
What I found with events that it is a driver of its own. Like it's an event is a beautiful way to attract people. There's a reason for people to pay attention because there is a time and there is something happening, and that on that particular date there is a big reason for people to pay attention and attend or take interest or take notice. So it's not like an everyday marketing. This is something like a launch. And that's what it could really be.
Yes, 100%. And well, that's one of the things that we say, even in the mega event world, is that like the opening ceremony for an Olympic Games, that date is not going to move. So you have to make decisions. You need to step forward because there is a date. And like what you said, it brings everyone together. Everyone is working towards the same common goal. And so whether you're hosting the event, whether you're inviting, or whether people are going, you're the attendee, they're always looking at that one date, that specific date and time to be able to attend that event. And that's that real draw to all be together at that specific time. Otherwise, a lot of people have FOMO and miss out, unfortunately.
Yeah, absolutely. How do you work with people at the moment? What are the ways you support your clients with?
Yeah, so we work in a number of variety of ways. We work in hosting sponsorship, VIP sessions to be able to really unpack for the business owner to be able to review what is their sponsorship strategy. We'll look at monetization processes around ticketing and also other monetization and sales opportunities that you can have when you're hosting an event. We also then look at the peace of mind, what I call, which is all of the event logistics and so on. So we have a number of different packages depending on what the client is looking for, whether it's all inclusive or whether it's part of, and it may just be a monetization strategy.
That's pretty amazing. I love that you support in the various strategies because there's so much to figure out. And as a business owner, you kind of set out with this big idea. Okay, I want to launch an event or run an event. And then you don't realize just how many moving pieces or moving parts to the event. And a lot of times, if you don't plan to make revenue from the get-go, there is possibility of you getting to the other side of the event, as in the end of the event, and realizing you never made any money.
100%. Now, what I always recommend is that business owners, they sit in the strategy phase. So if you were to host a business event, you sit in the strategy phase for around 1 to 2 months where you're starting to look at ticketing, speakers, sponsorships, the event ethos, what it's going to be, what are the benefits to the attendees, and really being crystal clear with what that purpose is so that when they go into the launch, then they can launch really strongly. And then because they've already set the strategy, when you go into the implementation phase, and naturally some challenges are going to occur, there's going to be some tweaking and remodeling and looking at, well, which other strategies what you may look at. But it's always coming back to that same common goal. And so what I find, and I think that's what people are starting to be quite confused with running events, is they go straight into implementation straight away. Like, great, I have an idea, I'm going to run an event, it's going to be this date, and they just start launching. And like what you said, it's like, oh, we'll just do a number, don't really know, but we're going to say it's going to be this price. I don't really know who the speakers are going to be, but we're going to launch. And then all of a sudden, it starts to get, a lot of questions starts happening. Whereas when you sit in the strategy phase at the very start, at the very beginning, and being really crystal clear with what is the purpose, what are the objectives, what are the key benefits to the attendees, what's in it for them, who's speaking, what's the program, and then go into the launch, it means that the execution phase is a lot smoother. And also having the budget means that you can make decisions, and I always recommend there's going to be line items that are a must-have, and then there's going to be line items that are a nice-to-have. And so based on the ticket sales, based on sponsorship sales, based on that journey, then you as the business owner can make those decisions as you go along. And then you come into the fourth phase, which is the final week, which is bump in, which can be quite busy. And I know that a lot of business owners, again, there start to be lots of questions because now all of a sudden attendees are saying, oh, hey, where do I park? Where can I be accommodated? Oh, I've got dietary requirements. So what I recommend, and I always go back to that strategy, let's get crystal clear with the event and know when we're going to be delivering different pieces of communication, because that final week before an event, you don't want 100 people coming to you asking the same question. You don't want 10 speakers coming to you asking, what time am I on? What am I wearing? Where is my microphone? Is there a clicker? All of those questions, Ray, that are asked, and are asked, and they're very reasonable questions to be asked, but it's around, and you asked, how do we work with people? It's around, we strategize and we systemize a lot of these processes. And so the business host is really comfortable in the lead up. There's been key communications to the speakers, and they know there's a speaker's briefing, there's a speaker's information kit, there's an attendee kit, so that we're starting to really eliminate all of those individual questions.
Yeah.
That week out is all around promotions and then bump in, and then it's go live, which is phenomenal, because all of your hard work, all of the 6 months or the 9 months or the year planning that has taken place, now actually it's where the rubber hits the road and we now go into action. And it actually is quite soul crushing to me when I see a business host and they're really stressed, and and I know that they said this to me in the past before we've worked together, they'll say, "Oh, I just want this event to be over." Well, you've said yourself, you love events. It's around bringing people together. Like, you've worked so hard to bring everyone. And that's just, I think, soul crushing to know that it's like, oh, I just want this event to be over. I'm exhausted. I just want to go home on my couch and watch Netflix or something. I want to work with business hosts so that they've meditated, they've gone for a run in the morning, they've had a spa the night before, and they're really prepared and mentally in the room, they're passionate, and that they can give their all, they're confident, and they just cannot wait. Like what you've said, you cannot wait to host an event because there's so much energy around it, so much connection that occurs, and so much, honestly, it's a beautiful time to be involved.
Yeah. And it's an opportunity not to be missed, because if you don't do all these parts, you only get to find out that, oh, I'm not prepared. As a last minute, I've spoken on an event a few weeks ago, and I didn't know all of these questions. So I need to bring my own clicker. What time am I on? How long is my talk? I had to, when I got there in the morning, I had to find out how long is my talk exactly. And I didn't realize I was going first. And I was like, okay, well, I can work with that because I've done many events. So, but again, it's just that preparation. And this is what makes a difference between an outstanding and successful event and an event that you just can't wait to get over with and done. And it's such an amazing opportunity to promote your business, create those deeper relationships, and to make money. And I know for the first few events, my goal wasn't to make money, but I missed some crucial opportunities in the first few events by creating these sponsorship opportunities, by doing an upsell, by having a product, by having communications that are timely. Then I can make those sales because my audience were wanting to work with me. I just was not prepared to open the doors and make that offer and create that buzz around something that I was doing. And I think you don't want to spend like 10 grand on an event to learn those hard lessons. Might as well just hire an expert and get that help so you can make your events profitable.
Yeah, 100%. And that's the case. I think that it really is. It's looking at, well, what is the investment? And it's actually saving time, and it's actually saving money by hiring experts or by going to a coach that helps in events. It's by investing in that knowledge so that all of those steps, we work with clients in a 7-step phase, and it takes everyone through from that initial strategy right through to post event, and you're doing a full review and preparing for the next year.
Yeah.
And it actually is time saving, stress saving, and the money that you spend on an expert is actually money that you can make because of the efficiencies of your event. And it also means that you as the business host can actually be working on your business, which is your genius zone.
Yeah, absolutely.
Then starting to go into a whole gamut of other things which can cause stress. But yeah, when you see events like your summit and it comes to fruition and everyone knows exactly what they need to be doing, it looks like clockwork, it looks like it's a professional, it's like watching TV, it's just in sync. That's when you know, and it's one of the theories that I work with, it's the iceberg effect. When an event is hosted, what you see on event day is just the top of the iceberg. What actually happens for an event to be hosted, it's how much below the surface that no one will ever know apart from you and your team and your service providers. And there was a time that I ran an event, and a number of the business heads then came together after this government event, and they said, "Oh, wow, that was easy. That was simple. That worked well." And I just stood there with a grin on my face, because I knew that they were saying this comment because of the under the iceberg effect, because we knew, the team knew where they were standing, the catering, we knew where you were walking on and off the stage, we knew who was handing over the microphone, we knew who the MC was then speaking to next, and it just meant that it worked seamlessly. But if you don't go through underneath the iceberg, that's when it all starts to crumble, literally crumble. But
you get to find out on the day where you have not done your preparation.
You certainly do it, and you see it, and people can see that. So yeah, highly recommend. The more work that you do in that preparation phase means that it's a real seamless operation in that final execution.
It's making me laugh for sure, because I know how much there is underneath that iceberg. It's such a huge amount of, not to put anyone off, because even the planning and the preparation, for me, it's really exciting, because you get to stretch yourself. You get to work on aspects of your business that you've never worked before. You get to prepare yourself for this big showcase. It's a really exciting and interesting journey to go on preparing events. But you're making me laugh because, as you said, people just experience the final product of it, but they have no idea how much, as if you're growing a fruit, you don't know how much it has taken to bear that fruit and water that fruit and nurture that fruit to get to that place. But it's just so amazing when it is success. Oh, it's just beautiful. It's a really, really beautiful experience.
Yes. And look, and it's creating memories. It's creating really positive memories when everyone's come together, when you're looking at your mission, when you know that there's an impact, when you know that there's aha moments that are made in the room, in the virtual space, that you've made a difference. And that's the beauty of it.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Lauren, it's been amazing. And I know we could be here all day, and the deeper we go in, the more we could uncover about the events. But this is the work that you do. How can people get in touch with you if somebody wanted to perhaps follow up, have a conversation with you, or work with you?
Yes, lovely. Well, you're most welcome to connect with me through my website, which is www.branchedout, without an E. So BRANCHDOUT.com. Also, I run a free Facebook group, which is Scale Your Business Through Events. So you can find me on Facebook. Also, I do hang out in Facebook on my personal page and also on the business page. So there's a number of avenues there. So please connect with me and like the page, come into the Facebook group. I am running free trainings every week inside of the Facebook group to really upskill business owners in terms of how you are running events. And for those that do want to deep dive into a little bit more around sponsorships, I do have a 20-minute training that you can download, and that's the top 5 sponsorship mistakes to avoid. And to find that is register.branchedout.com/top-5-sponsorship-mistakes-to-avoid-. So if you place that in, you'll be able to download for free the top 5 sponsorship mistakes that I've found in the industry and that I really want to be able to help you to avoid.
Amazing. Well, do make sure that we get those details into our show notes so you can actually follow all these links. If you have enjoyed this session, make sure you give us a quick review, share this episode with somebody, and follow Lauren on her links in the show notes, or simply just reach out to her on social media, Lauren Penny, and just ask for any resources that you may want or need. And I highly recommend jumping on a call. And myself and Lauren have been working for some time now, and she is the one that is helping us to build these beautiful partnerships and sponsorships in our business for our events. And it's just been a joyful ride so far, and I look forward to continuing our work together, Lauren.
Thank you. Thank you, Ramonda. Yes, I look forward to connecting with you all. Please do reach out, ask me any questions. It'd be great to connect. And Ramonda, it's been an absolute joy to be able to work with you and see your Women Thrive media. It's such a phenomenal mission. You have such a strong community, and you provide so much benefits to so many business women in their inspiration, in their development. And it's been a real joy to be able to work with you.
Thank you. I appreciate it. It's been amazing. If you have enjoyed this episode, make sure you share it with somebody else. And we hope that you have enjoyed this session, and this is going to inspire you to start planning events and actually consider rediscovering some of those revenue potentials and opportunities that you could have with the running of the events. And I'm sure that I'll get to hear from you back after you implement some of these topics and some of these incredible secrets that Lauren has just shared today. Come back, get in touch with us. Let us know how your events are going. If you're planning on launching an event anytime soon, we'd love to hear from you. Lauren, thanks so much for today's conversation, and we look forward to seeing you again very soon.
Thank you so much, Ramonda. It's been wonderful to be here. Thank you, everyone.
Take care. Well, we hope you enjoyed this episode, and we look forward to seeing you at another interview with some of our amazing speakers from Women Thrive. Speak to you again soon. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you for tuning in to Women Thrive podcast. If you found today's episode empowering and inspiring, be sure to subscribe and follow us. Better yet, leave a review and share it with others. We're committed to bringing you more stories that will empower and inspire you on your own journey. Until next time, keep listening, keep learning, and keep pursuing your dreams.